This conference will now be recorded.
So my dear friends, in the previous session, we have seen about subnetting. Now we are going to take that further. So what we have seen that an IP address will always have a subnet mask. And if the subnet mask is 192.160, sorry, if the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, whatever is the IP address, it does not matter. Subnet mask is this one is /24. This is the first step of subnetting. And when you get /24, you get the network part, that is 24 bit on the network side. And how many bit on the host side? 8 bit on the host side. Then you have to do 2 raised to 8 and you will get 256 IP. 256 meaning first is 0, the last IP is 255. Now how it becomes? It becomes 192.168.1.0. The first IP address is the network IP. Then it goes 192.168.1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.254, and 192.168.1.255. So this is the broadcast IP address. This IP, network IP, and the broadcast IP address cannot be given to any PC. And this below, this is the subnet. Okay, so 1.0 to 1.255 is your subnet, where 1.0 is the network IP, 1.255 is the broadcast IP. The first IP of the network is the network IP, the last IP of the network is the broadcast IP. Now my dear friends, if I have a PC having an IP address of 192.168, imagine I have a PC having an IP address of 192.168.0.1. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. The same thing will happen. Same thing. All steps are same. Looking by this, you will say that it is /24. 24 bit on the network side. Step number 1 is done. Same thing. Step number 2 will happen. Step number 3 is step number 2 will be same. Network on 24 bit, host 8 bit, 2 raised to 8, 256. Okay, and 24 bit are on the network side, so this part is fixed. So you can see this is the fix. The same way here also it will happen. So 192.168.0.0, this will be fixed. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 up to 0.254, and the last IP is 0.255. Getting the point, my dear friends? This will be the network IP, this will be the broadcast IP. Simple. So now, my dear friends, let's go ahead, and if you already have the packet tracer, that's good. If not, open up the packet tracer and let's see some different kind of setup. Okay, now we have to learn about /25, 26, 27, and so on. So my dear friends, I will take a switch and I will take a PC and I will take a PC and I will take 4 PCs, the same way we have done in the previous lab, the same kind of lab it is, and I will connect them. And my dear friends, the IP address here is 192.168. Same, the same lab that you already have. If you have it, that's fine. If you do not have it, you can create 1.1, 1.2. But here now, instead of 2.1 and 2.2, we will give the IP as 1.100 and 1 dot we can say 1.200. So my dear friends, here instead of 2.1, you have to remove that IP and you have to give 1.100. So this is the lab that we want for this session. So the first PC IP address is 192.168.1.1 and the next PC IP address is 192.168.1.2. All the IP addresses are in same network. Okay, so the third PC IP address is 192.168.1.100. It should be 1.100. Okay, and the fourth PC IP address is 192.168.1.200. Okay, my dear friends, now you have to go to this PC and try to ping from 1.1, try to ping 192.168.1.2, you will be able to ping. Try to ping 192.168.1.100, you will be able to ping. Try to ping 192.168.1.200, you will be able to ping. Okay, just go ahead, do this and update in the chat box. Why they are able to ping? Because they are in the same network. So just go ahead, do this and update in the chat box. It is simple. You have to give the IP address and ping it out. Okay, so that's great, my dear friends. From your PC, 1.1, 1.100 and 1.200 are pinging. Why? Because they are in same network. Correct? They are in same network. You will see that here, right? It is in same network. Correct, my dear friends? That's great. Now change the subnet mask. Now what we have to do is we have to change the, now you will understand the importance of subnet mask, how subnet mask can change everything. We will change it to 128. Subnet mask will be not 255.255.255.0. It will be everywhere. It will be 128. So if the subnet mask is 128, what is going to happen? So please go to the PC, my dear friends. Please go to the PC. First, see on the screen. Please click on this PC, this PC, this PC. Click on IP and change the subnet mask to 128 and copy that. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.128. Okay, and close this. Come to this PC. Give the subnet mask as 128. Okay, close this. Give the, come on the third PC. Give the subnet mask as 128. Come on fourth PC and give the subnet mask as 128. Just go ahead, do this on all the PC. Change all the PC subnet mask from 255.255.255.0 to 128. Done, that's great. Now, my dear friends, go to PC1 and try to ping. Go to PC1 and try to ping all the IPs like 1.2 ping is happening. 1.100 ping is happening. 1.200 ping is not happening. Previously, see, when they were in same network, when the subnet mask was 255.255.255.0, ping was happening, but now ping is not happening to 1.200. Previously the ping was happening to 1.200. Now it is not happening. After changing the subnet mask, it is not happening. Why? That's what we need to understand. So my dear friends, have you checked this? Are you able to ping 1.2? Are you able to ping 1.100? Are you able to ping 1? Are you not able to ping 1.200? What is happening at your side? Is the same thing is happening? If you are not able to ping 1.200, that's what we have to understand, that after changing the subnet mask, what happened? That the ping is not happening now. Is it done? Have you done till here? That's great. Now, my dear friends, let's go ahead and let's see the next thing. The next thing is about why this is happening. So for that, we will take the PC and we will do the subnetting. Okay, we will do the subnetting. So the PC is having an IP 192.168.1.1. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.128. When you see the subnet mask, quickly in your mind, what should come? Step number 1. What is the slash? Correct. You will say /25. Then quickly, what will you get the answer? The network bit. How many bit on the network side? 25 bit on the network side. How many bit on the host side? 32 minus 25 is 7 bit on the host side. How many host IP address you will get? 2 raised to 7. Okay. So this host come here. Multiply to 7 times. Correct. So 2 ones are, you can say 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 8, 2 fours are 16, 2 fives are 32, 2 sixes are 64, 2 sevens are 128. So my dear friends, the answer here is 128. To multiply 7 times. Once you get 128, what should come in your mind? What will be the first IP address? Quickly, it should come in your mind. When you got 256, what came in your mind? 0 to 255, right? 0 to 255 was the IP, correct? When you saw 256 in /24, 256 host was there, first IP is 0 and last IP will be 255. Am I right? Whatever will be the network part, it does not matter. First IP will be 0, last IP will be 255. The same thing should come in your mind here. 0 to 127. The first IP will be .0 and the last IP will be 127. So total 128 IP address will be there. Are you understanding, my dear friends? For 256, what you have done? 0 to 255. First IP is 0, last IP is 255. No, one less. The same thing you have to do here. The same concept you have to apply here. 0 to 127. So that means the first IP address will be .0 and last IP address will be .127. In this network, you will have this IP. Okay, I got it. So here simply we will write now 192.168.1.0 will be the first IP, 192.168.1.1 will be the next, 1.2, 1.3, 1.126, and the last IP address will be 1.127. So my dear friends, this will be the network IP. This will be the broadcast IP. The first, this will be the entire subnet. This will be the entire network, subnet network. They are interchangeable words. So this IP address belongs, this is one network, but this is the network IP. This is the this IP represents all the IP address inside the network. This network IP address is heavily required in routing. You will understand at that point. And the last IP address is broadcast IP address. This IP address is the broadcast IP address for this network. So now you have created, just by increasing one bit from 24 to 25, network part has increased, host part has reduced. Try to understand this. Host part is reduced. Host part says now in your subnet you will have only 128 IP. That means 2 IP addresses are reserved. That means usable you will get only 126 IP from 1.1 to 1.126. So my dear friend, that's why from 1.1 you are able to ping 1.2, you are able to ping 1.100, but you are not able to ping 1.200. Why? Because 1.200 is in different network. Subnet mask change, everything has changed. Entire subnetting depends on subnet mask. Now, my dear friend, the next part. What is the next part? This is the first subnet. Now, what is the next subnet? So the next subnet is, what will be the next IP address after 127? You will say the next IP address will be 192.168.1.128. This is the network IP address of this subnet. Then how many IP address you will have? In this subnet, how many IP address you will have? How you will come to know how many IP address is there? What is the last IP address? How you will come to know? There is a logic for that. Simple logic is, you know the piece of first subnet, na? 0 is 1 IP plus 127 IP. Total how many IP address? 128. So 0 is 1 IP plus how many? Add 127. You get this one. So each subnet consists of 128 IP. This subnet consists of 128 IP. This subnet will also consist of 128 IP. So this is the one IP which has been there. How many IP address still are remaining? 127 IP address still are remaining. So 128 plus 127 IP, how much IP address you get if you add 128 plus 127 to 55? So the last IP address is 192.168.1.255. Getting the point, my dear friends? So two subnets are created. If you go for /25, two subnets are created, and each subnet there are 128 IP address. 128 plus 128 to 56 IP address. So in each subnet, one subnet will have 128, other subnet will have 128, and usable IP will be like 129, 130 up to 1.254. Getting the point, my dear friends? So what happened when you created a /25 subnet mask? What you did? You divided it into two parts, meaning there was a big house, big subnet /24. If you go for /24, you get how many IP? 8 IP address, right? 2 raised to 8 is 256. So you get more host. But when you went for /25, and this is the subnet mask, then what is going to happen in this subnet mask? Automatically /25, meaning network part is 25 bit, 7 bit on the host side, 2 raised to 7 is 128. So that means your network will have 128 IP address. You will have a subnet in which the number of IP address will be less, that you can give to PC printer. Getting the point? Have you understood this? My dear friends, have you understood this part? At least this part. This part is logical. Now you do not say that I have not understood. If you say this I have not understood, then it is very dangerous. That means seriously you need heavy badam. Irani badam will also fine. If Indian badams are not working, Irani badam can do. Now the next thing is, so 0 to 127. Simple logic is, the first IP will be 0, the last IP address will be 127. Whatever IP address it is, it does not matter whatever it is, 192.168, 192.168, 0, 10, 10, 10, 172 to 16, whatever it is, it does not matter. If you see this subnet mask 0 to 127, what should come in your mind? /25. If the subnet mask is 255.255.255.128, then what is the subnet /25? Getting the point, my dear friends? What is /25? Meaning you have to calculate this, and then quickly you will come in this, okay, 128 and 0 to 127. Now this is your first network. So the next thing is, that this is automatically a next network is also, it can also be created, and the next network is, because the last IP is 255 na, 0 to 255, so that it will go till here. So it is 127, 0 to 127. First of all, let's look here. 0 is one IP. Now how many IP address more you need? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 up to 127 IP address. So 0 plus 127, you got this, 0 to 127. So the next IP is 128. You just have to add the 127 here and automatically you will get 255. So that means equal subnet is created, two subnets are created, and in that subnet you have 128 IP, but you cannot use the 128 IP. For this subnet, this IP will go to the network, this IP will go to the broadcast. For this subnet, this is the network IP, this is the broadcast IP. So two subnets are created. This is subnet 1 and this is subnet 2. In slash 24, you had only one subnet, but in slash 25, two subnets are created. So in slash 24, what happens? You just have one subnet and having 0 to 255 IP. But when you go for slash 25, two subnets are created from 0 to 127 and 128 to 255. Getting the point? It is like breaking the house, when it is like you're dividing. You get an apple, you divide it into two parts, two apple, two piece. The same thing here. This is one subnet, this is another subnet. If the subnet mask is slash 24, the PCs can talk with each other. 1.1 can talk with 1.200, but if the subnet mask is slash 25, both the PCs having the slash 25 subnet mask, 1.1 cannot talk with 1.200. Getting the point? Because they are in different subnet. Are you understanding, my dear friends? By increasing the subnet mask, you have created more subnet but reduce the number of IP in each subnet. Getting the point? Have you understood till here, my dear friends? Have you understood this? How we will give 128 to 254 using subnet 128. So my dear friends, in this case, this is your network IP 192.168.1.0/25. Two networks are created here. So the first network is, it will be like this, it will be known like this, 192.168.1.0/25, and this will be known as 192.168.128 1.128/25. It will be known like this. So in this case, now how these two subnets can be used? It can be used, but for that we have to understand using L3 switch, inter VLAN routing. When we will take, for example, this is my IT subnet where all IT people are sitting. This is my finance sales subnet where all sales users are sitting. Okay, so I can just give all this IP to the IT user, I can give all this IP to the sales user, and then we can see how this PC can communicate with each other. So my dear friends, that we will see, but remember, the most important point is the other subnet which is created, that is not important. You cannot, because there are so many subnets which are created, so you cannot just remember the first and the last IP of each subnet. Okay, it is not possible. Even I don't remember. The most important point is this one. We should have an idea that what is the first IP address and the last IP address of the first subnet that will be created. That is this one. That means whenever you see /25, quickly it should come in your mind 0 to 127. And the other IP, other subnet can be 128 to 255. Now, just to give you an idea, I will take a simple example here. For example, we have a PC. You got an PC with an IP address of 192.168.1.200. The same we have, and we have the subnet mask of 255.255.255.128. And someone told you that give me the network IP address and give me the broadcast IP address to which this IP belongs to. Are you understanding the question? You get this IP address on a paper, you get this subnet mask, and the interviewer asks you, give me the network IP, give me the broadcast IP in which this IP belongs. It is 200. Huh? How you will do? Are you understanding the question? How you will do? So my dear friends, you have to do the same thing which we have done. You will do the same thing. You will first put here 192.168 1 dot, you will put like this /25, and you should remember, okay, 0.127 is the first and 128 to 255 is the next one. Okay, so 1.200 comes here, 1.200 comes here. So this is the network IP and this is the broadcast IP. 1.128 is the network IP and 1.255 is the broadcast IP. Actually, this is a tough question. It is not that easy question. It is a tough question because only one who has mastered subnetting can answer this. Meaning quickly he will see that, he will understand, okay, subnet mask is 255.255.128. Oh, /25 meaning 0 to 127. 0 to 127 is the first one, 128 to 255. Okay, 128 to 255, you belong to this subnet. Getting the point? Are you understanding? The one who has mastered the subnetting via practice can only answer quickly. There is no need of 0 and 1, doing 0 and 1 and playing around. You have to master it. Master meaning what I mean by mastery. Mastery meaning, if you see the subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, there is no need for you to do any thinking. Just /24 0 to 255 should come in your mind. If you see the subnet mask of 255.255.255.128, /25 0 to 127 should come in your mind. 128 to 255 will be the next one, but the first one at least should come in your mind. Getting the point? Are you understanding? The next one is optional. That's not possible because in upper next subnet it is not possible, but that can be calculated. 128 plus 127, you will get 255. This is known as mastery because subnetting answers are fixed. If you see here the logic which I'm going to give you now, 255.255.255.220, no, 192/26, right? What will be the answer? So let's see. How many IP? 256 IP. 0 to 255. How many IP? 128 IP. 0 to 127. How many IP? 64 IP. It will get reduced. 0 to 63. The more you increase the network part, the number of IP address in the subnet, the number of IP address in each subnet will be reduced. It will go like this. /24, one subnet 256 IP. /25, two subnet will be created. In each subnet 128 IP will be there. /26, four subnet will be created. In each subnet 64 IP will be there. /27, 8 subnet will be created. In each subnet 32 IP will be there, and it will go on. So your 256 IP address are getting divided If you go to /25, IP is reduced, subnet is increasing. Getting the point? Are you seeing this? From 24 to 25, 2 subnet, half. 25 to 26, 4 subnet, then further half. 64 into 4, you will get 256. Okay, so your IPs are 256 only, but subnets will be increased, and the number of IP needs in each subnet will be reduced. Now in company, sometimes we need a small subnet, but most of the time in production you will see /24 only. 25, 26, 27, 28, they are very rare, but at some places they are used. So you should have an understanding, and interviewers normally they ask all these questions. So my dear friend, see here, let's see about /26. Okay, now to see /26, let's see here, 0 to 63, 64 to 127. Okay, now come here. Have you understood this, that why 1.1 is able to ping to 1.2 and 1.100 and why it is not able to ping to 1.200? Have you understood this, my dear friend? Correct. As per subnetting, they both are in different subnet because they are this is the subnet mask. 1.1, 1.2, 1.100 are in same subnet, and 1.200 is in different subnet. Now my dear friend, let's change the subnet mask. Okay, keep the IP address same, change the subnet mask to 192. Change the subnet mask to 192. All the IP, change the subnet mask. All the IP, change the subnet mask. Please change the subnet mask for all the PCs. Have you changed the subnet mask for all the PCs? Done, my dear friends. Is it done? Is it done? Done. Just go ahead and update me in the chat box if it is done. Okay, that's great. Now let's go ahead and from 1.1 try to ping 1.2 and 1.100. From 1.1 try to ping, sorry, 1.2, 1.1 is myself only, 1.2, 1.100. I'm not able to ping 1.100. I'm not able to ping 1.200 now. So I'm not able to ping 1.100. Previously I was able to ping, but now I'm not able to ping 1.100. Getting the point, my dear friends? Why I'm not able to ping? Because we have changed the subnet mask. Just go ahead and check. You are able to ping 1.2, but you are not able to ping 1.100 and 1.200. Are you understanding, my dear friends? Why we are not able to ping? That's what we have to do. We have to do that on the whiteboard. Why 1.1 is able to ping here and not here, not here? Let's see. So my dear friends, here let's see. So this is the PC, and the IP address 192.168.1.1. Have you thought how many times I write on the board? Have you thought how many times I write on the board, right? Have you ever thought on this? How many times, right? I can make things easy myself, my job easy by using fancy PPTs. I can make it very easy by using fancy PPTs. Why should I take the pain of writing? I can do it. But I do not like to do it. because I like to write on the board. So I feel that when I write something, wherever you are, you might try to connect yourself, right? Correct. So my dear friends, as a trainer, I try to write multiple things, but you will get a chance to write about Attari classes. In the last lecture, you will get a feedback link, and most of the people will ignore the link. Why should I write? Why should I give feedback? What am I getting after giving the feedback? Why should I write only few words also? That is actually not for me. That is actually for those people who are coming to Attari class, and for them the reviews are helpful. It is like that. But most of the time I have seen very few people take it. No worries. Let's see. So coming here, but it is not our motive is finally is students should be happy. That is the final motive. Oh, thank you, my dear friend. Now coming here, if we go to the subnet mask, no, actually I was thinking of writing and then that point came in, so I related it. Now coming back on this point, so in subnet mask, what is the subnet mask? 255.255.255.192. And then you people might go and feel, okay, you already have more than 700 reviews, then why do you need? It is actually for other people, and it is like that. We are happy when you share your feeling. It is other feelings are there. When we are happy when you share something your feeling. Now anyways, we are also open for any constructive feedback also. If the point has came, I will close this. If you feel that we should improve somewhere, you feel that okay, Atari class people should improve here, they should improve here, they should do this, they should do that, whatever comes in your mind, we are not stopping you. We will share an email address also in the last lecture, or in the lecture also you can share with me personally. Okay, you can share with me and I can update to the Attari class management that we have got a constructive feedback and this is what it is. If anything is good, we will definitely implement it. Now my dear friends, and if it is something which where we need to improve, definitely we will try to improve ourselves. Now, my dear friends, coming back on this point, so IP address is 192.168.1.1 and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.192. What is the meaning of this? So first of all, the logic 128, 192, 224, 128, 192, 128. Oh, it is /26. First step is done. Counting on the hand and remembering this. Okay, it is /26. The next thing is, my dear friend, on the network part, what we have 26-bit we have, and the host part we have 26 minus 32. I was weak in maths. 456. So 6-bit on the host side. Now my dear friends, 2 raised to 6 is 2 to the 4, 2 1 the 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8 to 16, 16 to the 32. 32. Am I putting right? No, this is wrong. 2 1 the 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8 to 16, 16 to the 32, 32, 664. Now my dear friends, when I see 64, I just have to say 0 to 63. The first IP will be 0, the last IP address will be 63. Whatever it is, whether it is 10.10.10.0, whether it is 192.168.0, whether it is 192.168.1, whatever IP address it is, subnet mask does not care. Subnet mask will say 0 to 63. That's it. So my dear friends, this is my first subnet, 192.168.1.0. The next IP address is 192.168.1.1, 192.168.1.2, and so on. 192.168.1.250, sorry, 1.192.168.62, and the last IP address is 192.168.63. And this is the network IP, this is the broadcast IP. This we say is the network, it belongs to the network, it cannot be given to any PC. and this is the broadcast IP, it cannot be given. So this is the network IP address and this is the broadcast IP. So in this total network, this IP goes to the network, this IP goes to the broadcast, and these are the usable IP address. Getting the point, my dear friends? So this is your one network. You have understood till here? If we use subnet mask of 255.255.240.0, that is going to come. First of all, we will go slowly 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Then we will come to 16. Okay, so my dear friends, have you understood this? Now, how many subnets are created? How many subnets are created? So /26 is the subnet mask. 4 subnets are created. How many subnets? 4. So 4 subnets are created, and each subnet you have 64 IP address. Okay, so this is the first. Can I tell the next subnet? Now, every time it is not possible for you to calculate the next subnet, but starting it is simple. 0. So the next subnet is 192.168.1.64. 64. What is the last IP address here? 192.168.1. What is the last IP address of this subnet? Here, if you see, the logic is 0 plus 63. Oh, can I use the logic here? 63 plus 60, 64 plus 63, 127. You got the hint now? 0 plus 63. Ew. You have to redo reverse engineering. You got this answer? Oh, how it got 0 plus 63. So 192.168.1.64 plus 63 is 1. This is the next subnet. This is the network IP of this subnet. This is the broadcast IP of this subnet. Then the third subnet is 192.168.1.128. 128 plus 63. So this IP becomes 192.168.1. 128 plus 63 is 191. And the last subnet is 192.168.192 plus 63 is plus 192 plus 63. Do if you get, you will get 255, 1.255. So you will get 1.255. Getting the point, my dear friends? Now, how you got 2 raised to 6 is 64. Okay, this how I got. Okay, so this how I got is this table. You have to just remember 2 raised to 1 is 2, 2 raised to 2 is 2 to the 4, 2 raised to 3 is 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 2 raised to 4 is 2 to the 4, 4 ages 3 16, it is 16. 2 multiply 5 times, it is like that. 2 ones are 2, 2 to the 4, 2 to the 3, 2 for the 8, 2 for the 16, 16, 32. It goes 2 raised to 6 is 64. So 2 multiply 6 times, it is like that. Now, my dear friends, coming back on this point, but after this session, there is no need to remember you. There is no need for you to remember anything. Just one line you have to memorize. Remember, that's it. Subnetting will be so easy. So, my dear friends, how many subnets are created? If I have /64, how many subnets are created? 0 to 63, 64 to 127, 128 to 191, 192 to 255. Am I right, my dear friends? 0 to 63, 64 to 127, 128 to 191, 192 to 255. Correct? 4 subnets and each subnet 64 host. /24, 1 subnet 256 host. /25, 2 subnet 128 host. /26, 4 subnet 64 host. Out of which the 2 IP addresses are not usable, but they are host IP, but they are not usable. One goes for the network, the next goes for the broadcast. That is one thing. Have you understood this table? Then we can go ahead. Is there any doubt in here? First /24 you have one subnet 256 IP. You go /25, two subnets are created. In each subnet there are 128 IP address. Then you go for /26. In each subnet you have 64 IP. So total 4 subnets are created. Now you might be wondering how many subnets, why only 2 subnet is created? Why only 4 subnets are created? So for that there is one logic, and the logic is, see carefully. From /24 one subnet, one bit was extra na, from /24. How much bit was extra? How much bit was extra? One bit was extra. Correct? So that 2 raised to 1 is done, and then that is why two subnets are created. From /24 you went /26. How many bit are extra? How many bit went extra from 24 to 26? You will say 2 bit went extra. So 2 raised to 2 is what is there. 2 raised to 1 is 2, 2 to 2 is 4, right? So 4 subnets are created. So my dear friends, how many bit went extra from /24? That many subnets are counted. So from /24, 1 bit went extra. So 2 subnets are there. From /24, when it comes to /26, how many bit from /24? 2 bit. So 4 subnets are there. But how many subnets are created, that is not the main important thing. Okay, how many IP address are there in each subnet, that is very important. Meaning /24 meaning 0 to 255, /25 meaning 0 to 127, /26 meaning 0 to 63. This answer is important. No one is interested in how many subnets you can create. Now my dear friends, the next is /27. /27, if you see the subnet mask, remember all subnet masks are not used. All subnets are not used. The most common subnet mask that you will find in production is /24. But when you go for interview, you will be asked, might be any question related to any subnet mask. Okay, so we are understanding the overall concept. And sometimes you might see in production environment, so you must be ready for that. But the most common subnet mask that is used in company is /24. Most common subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Simple and easy. Now my dear friends, if you Okay, so my dear friend, I hope you are able to hear me now. Okay, there was a issue at my side and now it is resolved. Now my dear friends, coming here, so if you see the subnet mask of 255.255.225.224, it is /27. That means 25, 26, 27. /27 is the subnet mask. Okay, so 27 bit on the network side, 5 bit on the host side, 2 raised to 5 is 32. So how many IP? Quickly it should come in your mind. The first will be 0, the last IP will be 31. 32 IP will be there, but the first will go for network, the last will go for the broadcast, 0 to 31. What is the next? The next is 32 plus 31 will give the next 32 plus 31, because 0 plus 31 is 31, 32 plus 31 will give you 63, and so on. You can count up to 255. Getting the point? The first one is important, and the next subnet can be created, can be done. So here this many zeros: 0 to 31, 32, 63, 64 to 95, 96 to 127, 128 to 159, 160 to 191, 192 to 223, 223, 224 to 255. 8 subnets are created. In each subnet there are 32 hosts. Okay, so 8 subnets are created, and each subnet you have 32 hosts /27. Now my dear friends, the same thing will go on. Subnet mask is 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. The number of hosts in the subnet will be reduced because the network part is increasing, and the number of subnet will increase. Subnet will get double, and the number of IP in each subnet will get half. If you see, it is getting half: 22, 56, 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. And the number of subnet is getting double: 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. So my dear friends, coming here, if I see a subnet mask of 255.255.255.240, so what I will do: 128, 192, 224, 240, 25, 26, 27, 28. Subnet mask is the first step is done. That's why I told you to memorize this. This is the first step. Once you see this 20 bit on the network side, 4 bit on the host side, 2 raised to 4, 2 ones are 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8 to the 16, 2 raised to 4 is 16, 0 to 15. Okay, so the IP becomes 192.168, 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.14, and 1.15 is the broadcast IP address. So this is a small, this is a subnet having less number of IP address. Usable IP address are only, how many are the usable IP address are here? What do you think? How many are the usable IP address here? Any thought, my dear friend? Now, my dear friends, the IP addresses are 14. You're right, 1 to 14. So these are the usable IP, and this IP address, these are the host IP address only, but they go for the network and the broadcast. Now the next is 192.168 1.16, and I see, okay, 0 plus 15. Okay, so 16 plus 15, what I get is .31. 192.168 1.31. Getting the point? So I get the network IP and the broadcast IP address of the next subnet. Again, the voice is gone. What do you think, my dear friend? No. Okay, so my dear friends, coming here, so do you see this 1.0 to 1.15, then 16, and then 16 to 31 is the next subnet, and so on. Subnets will be created, and in each subnet you will have 16 IP address. Now if I go to slash, I've given here all the subnets and their IP addresses also, which you can have a look. Now these are /29, 28. These are small subnet. These are not used, but just for understanding we are taking them so that we can complete the series. Okay, so if you see the subnet mask 255.255.255, dot 248 128. So I will do the calculation on my left hand. 128 192 224 240 248. Okay, 25 26 27 28 29. The answer is 29. 29 bit on the network side. 29 minus 32 is 3 bit on the host side. 3 2 raised to 3, so 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 8. 8 bit on the host side, 0 to 7. First IP is this is the 7. Usable IP is 1.1 and 1.1 to 6 usable IP address is there. The next address is 1.8 plus 0 plus 7. So 8 plus 7, you will get 15. Okay, so you will get automatically you will get the broadcast IP address. So on, so many subnets will be created. How many subnets will be created? That you can see in this chart in this one. So /2932 subnet will be created. Any subnet there will be 8 IP address. And the network, removing the network and the whole broadcast, only 6 IP addresses are usable. Now my dear friends, if I go to /30, then what is going to happen? /30, if you see this subnet mask 128 192 224 240 248 252 25 26 27 28 29 30 /30, 30 bit on the network side, 2 bit on the host side, 2 raised to 1 is 2, 2 to the 4, 2 raised to 2 is 4, so 4 IP, that means 0 to 3, that means this goes to the network, this goes to the broadcast, only 2 usable IP addresses there. Getting the point? In each subnet you will have 4 IP, but only 2 usable IP address you will have. So will I use such small kind of subnet? /30 is used. I will show you where. It is important. You have to memorize /30. Yeah, it has been used between two routers. It has been used like Mumbai and Pune. /30 subnet mask is used. If I use /24, then I'm wasting IP address. Then I have to use /30, which I will explain you at that time. But you have to at least remember this subnetting. That /30 meaning 0 to 3. Only 2 IP addresses there. 1.1 here, 1.2 here. That's it. So the next will become 1.4, 0 plus 3, you get 3, 4 plus 3, you will get 7. Correct. So it is used between routers, between, we will understand like your office, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Chennai, US, it is used there. /30 is commonly used. Now, my dear friends, so /30 gives you only 4 IP, out of which 2 IP in each subnet is usable. Now the next thing is /31. /31 is complete waste. See here. 31 bit on the network side, 1 bit on the host side, 2 raised to 1 is 2 host, 1 goes for the network, 1 goes for the broadcast, nothing. Here there is nothing. Getting the point? No usable IP address, complete useless subnet mask. Cannot be used anywhere. Getting the point? Completely useless subnet mask. It is not used anywhere. Now, my dear friends, the next thing is, what is left? You will say /32 is left. /32 meaning all subnet network part is 32, nothing for the host. So this is also not used in networking. It is also not used. Okay, this /32 meaning just one single. Sometimes to allow one single IP we use it at high level, but it is not used commonly, meaning you are not going to give this to the PC as a subnet mask. Okay, so the most commonly used subnet mask is actually /24. This is commonly used, which you will see in production in your PC, and /30, which is being used between routers. But rest all we have seen the understanding, because that is required. Might be you might see some subnet mask somewhere, I don't deny. So your logic should be built up. You go for an interview, the interviewer put the subnet mask 255 dot, because it happened with me. People used to take it. Okay, this is the IP, this is the subnet mask, do the subnetting, tell me what is the network IP, what is the broadcast IP, because I have faced this kind of questions. So it comes. Sometimes what happen in a company, interview is very tough, job is very easy. Job is so easy, you will just go at 9 a.m. in the morning, you will keep your bag, you will go to the washroom, After that, you will come back, see everything is fine. You will go to the canteen. You will have your whatever you want. You will have a heavy breakfast. Then after that, you will come back. Then you will go for a walk because you have taken a heavy breakfast. So you should take a walk, right? Then you will come back, and then what will happen? You will come back, do some work, and then quickly at 12:30 you will be the first person to go in the canteen, because canteen gets full, and I have limited work, I'm enjoying, so I will be the first person in the canteen. So at 12:30 I go to the canteen, and then I have my lunch. And if it is company oriented canteen, then you will have all gulab jamun and whatever it is, because you are the first person, so you will get all the meal, right? The person who comes at the last at 2:30, he will get all papad and everything will be lost. So the first person, because I've enjoyed this life, so I know exactly how it works. Okay. So in this case, first we will go, and after going that, or from 12:30 to 1:30 or 1:15, we will have our lunch, and then after that for half an hour we will go for a walk, and then at 1:45 approximately come back, 1:45 or 2, come back, whatever it is, and then coming back, do some work from 2 to 3 or 2 to 3:30, and then once again go for a chai break or samosa break. Okay, go back to the tapri, and at 4 p.m. come back at 4:30, and then finally do some work at 5:30. Everyone is going, so with 15-20 minutes, go to the washroom, invest some time there, finally take your bag and go home. That is the daily job routine, how to invest time and how to do time pass. So there are some companies where literally you just have to waste time because there is no work and you are getting money, enough money you are getting, you just have to go and do the work. So my dear friends, coming back on this point, so now what you have to memorize. So question, how we utilize the time. Now what happens now, this is in such company you will go in comfort zone. Now comfort zone is very tough. Comfort zone meaning taking gratuity from a company. If you have taken a gratuity, meaning after 5.5 years in a company, when you stay, you will be eligible for gratuity. So such company will take you to comfort zone. When you are comfort zone, you do not want to upgrade yourself. You are happy with whatever you are getting. You are happy in that state. But after 5.5 years or 6 years, after some time, you will feel that my package is less. Especially when you want to take a loan, then you feel the package is less. So my dear friend, at that point you will feel that okay, my comfort zone was very high and I was in a great comfort zone, the company was good, but the package was same. Because if you do not jump, you do not upgrade yourself, no company is going to give you more than 10-12% hike. A 15% hike is very big thing. But if you jump, you get minimum 30% hike, and if you are very smart, you can take counter offers and get negotiate with the HR and get 40 to 50% hike. And if you are very smart, you can just give multiple interviews and show them the current offer letter and get the hike of I want 80% hike, I want 100% hike. People do it, there is no harm in doing that. Okay, so you can do it. That is the common trend which is going on, and attrition is very high rate in our country because people are getting job, they are talented, they're just leaving the job in just 1 year 6 months, so attrition rate is already very high. So some companies will try to retain you by giving a counter offer. But remember, anywhere in whichever company you are running, you are working, if you want to show who you are, you have to put down the paper, simple. That means you have to show them the offer. Without offer, you will not get the counter offer, and without having an offer, you will not get a hike also. So my dear friends, coming back on the point on, now Vikram bhai has said something, tick 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 tick. Okay, so my dear friends, let's go ahead and let's see the next thing. So the next thing is the summary which you have to memorize is, if you see the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, then it is /24, and it is 0 to 255. Let's put one more thing here, 256, and it is 0 to 255. Now the next thing is 255.255.255.128 is /25, and 128 Is the first one correct, my dear friends? This is also correct. 0 to 127. You have to say whether it is correct or not. Huh? 255.255.255.192 64 0 to 63. 255.255.255.120 to 192 to 224 slash 27 32 0 to 31. 255.255.255.120 to 192 to 224 240. I don't remember, I just have the sequence, that's it. Slash 28 and 16 0 to 15. Then the next is 255.255.255.248 slash 29 8 IP 0 to 7. If I make a mistake, just highlight, okay, because I'm just going in a flow. I can make a mistake. 252 slash 30. And here how many IP address we will have? 4 IP 0 to 3. 255.255.255.254 slash 31 2 IP 0 and 1. And last is 255.255.255.255 slash 32 1 IP. So my dear friends, this is what you have to remember. Getting the point? If you remember this, subnetting is done, at least for this kind of subnet mask. Have you understood, my dear friend? If you remember this, subnetting is done. People will appreciate you. How fast you are doing subnetting. No, see, what a person. How fast you are doing. Just by seeing the subnet mask, you can see 0 is the network IP, 63 is the broadcast IP. Go and do Google and find it out. The answer will be same. Whatever is the IP, whether it is 190 to 168, 0, 1, 10, 10, 10, 170 to 16, whatever is the IP, the result will be same. You can go for interview. And my dear friends, sometimes I say about jumping, okay? So it is not like that currently you are working somewhere, okay? So do not get frustrated with your current job, because with the current job, you are running your home. So be happy. So instead of no job, you have some job. So be happy and try to upgrade yourself. So if you learn step by step, slowly, if you learn daily, if you learn half an hour also, you will find yourself that your knowledge has increased. Knowledge will not come at one go. Knowledge is not like a juice you take and drink and Superman juice or something like this. It is not like that. It cannot be taken at one go because it takes time to absorb. So you have to take daily little, but you should not stop. Consistency should be there. And that's why in the school life we are taught the lesson of tortoise and rabbit. So tortoise and rabbit story, that story is actually a very powerful story about consistency. If you are consistent, if you are learning slowly also, I guarantee you will find yourself at the next level. And when you convert your learning into passion, when you are passionate, okay, when you convert into your learning into a passion, then everything will follow you, my dear friend. Then there is no need for you to follow the packages. Whatever you want, you will get, because for you learning is a passion. And then people like you are required in companies. You can crack any interviews because for you learning is passion. It is not boring. It is not purposefully you are learning. It is not because of money you are learning. It is because of passion you are learning. And that is the top level. So my dear friends, coming back on this point, so how to apply for network job? In the last lecture, I will explain you how to deal with the HR, where are the places where you can apply for the job, how to go for the interview, how to try your best to crack the interview, how to work in the new organization. Simple tips which I can share as per my basic experience. I will share it. Now, my dear friends, coming to the next point. The next point is, now if you see a subnet mask of /23, we have seen up to /24. Now we will go back. Getting the point? We also need pointers and tips to pass the exam. Okay, short. Exam, we will discuss about exam also in the last lecture. Exam and job search. So my dear friends, coming back on this point. So if you see here carefully, my dear friends, /24 is you get 256 IP. /25 you get 128 IP. /26 you get 64 IP. Reduce. /23, if you see this logic, can you tell me? /23, how many IP? Just by using the logic, what do you think? What will be the IP address if the subnet mask is /23? Without doing any subnetting, just by looking at this, what do you feel? Correct, 512. What will be /22? 1024. 512 into 512, double. Okay, so 64 into 2, 128, 128 into 2, 256, 256 into 2, 512, 512, 2 into 2 is 1024. So my dear friends, what is /23 subnet mask? How the /23 subnet mask will look like? You know how the /23 subnet mask will look like in a PC. Normally /23 subnet mask is not given, but for understanding, it is a big subnet. Big subnet we don't give in production. A subnet having 500 IP, 1000 IP create issues, which I will explain you. Broadcast issues. Big subnet we don't use in production environment in company. We divide our network into small subnet of /24. /24 is the best subnet. Is the best subnet mask. Big subnet we don't use, which I will explain you in the next session. The next session start is only why we do not use big subnet. So my dear friends, that's why we do subnetting, so that small subnets are created. So my dear friends, 512 is /23 is the /23. Okay, so 255, what will be the subnet mask look like? 255, 255, 23 1. So how many 1? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 16 1 is there. Now how many ones will be there? So if I say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 16 18, I need to go back here. 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 0, and then all 0, 1 4, all 4 0. So my dear friends, what will be the IP address here? This will be 0. This is 255. This is 255. This is 7 1. So if there are 7 1, then my what my calculator says 128 64 32 16 8 4 2 1. Subnetting calculator says 1 2 3. No, not subnetting. My binary to decimal calculator says 254. Because if I put here 1, then it will be 255. So just only 1 is 0. I know that when there is all 1, it is 255. Obviously this will be 254 only. If I plus all of them, I will get 254 only. So the subnet mask becomes 255 255 254.0. This is the subnet mask. So my dear friends, if you see this subnet mask, normally you will not see, but I'm just giving you an understanding. If you see this subnet mask, then how to perform subnetting? Imagine in a PC you see a subnet mask of 192.168.1.1 is the IP, and 255.255.254.0 is the subnet mask. Then how you are going to perform subnetting? In this you will do the same thing. You have to first convert this to /255.255.254.0. As I said, here little bit experience practice will be required, so this becomes /23, which we have done right now. So 111 and 254 710, so it becomes 23. 23 ones are there, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, then 0, then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, all 0. So 8 16 17 and 16 plus 7 1, so 23 ones are there. So my dear friend, the next is network part. The network part is 23 and the host part has increased now. Host part is, what do you think? 23 minus 32 is 23 bit on the network side, total IP is 32 bit, so 9 bit on the host side. Once you get 2 raised to 9 multiplied to, if you multiply 2 8 times, you get 256. If you multiply 2 9 times, 256 into 2, you just have to double that last option. 256 into 2 is 512. 2 raised to 8 is 256, we all know. 2 raised to 9 will be 256 into 2, simple, double. Now my dear friends, 2 raised to 9 is 512. Okay, will I do now 0 to 511 will be this? No, in this case from slash 23 that was fine, from slash 24 it is fine, not beyond that, not upper side, it does not work like this. Now because your limit I of 8 bit is from 0 to 255, so how you can put 256 IP? It is not possible. 512 IP, 511 IP, it is not possible. So in this case it is not like that my first IP will be 192.168.1.0 and the last IP will be 511. It is not like that. We have to understand something more. Have you understood this? From slash 23 slash 22 slash it, if you go below, meaning if we go up 23 22 21 20, it will not be like this. Then what it will be? See here carefully. Here you have 512 IP address, meaning it is used like this 192.168. when you go for slash 60, when you go for slash 23, then both will be 0. When you go from slash 24, only the last part becomes 0. Last part is 0. Last 8 bit is 0. Slash 24, 25, 26, 0 to 255, 0 to 127, 0 to 63, 0 to 31. Last part is 0. But when you come to slash 23, because your subnet mask is coming in the third octet, so third and fourth both are 0 here. This is known as octet. One octet, second octet, third octet, fourth octet. 8 bit combination is known as octet. So third and fourth bit both are 0. So my dear friends, here both will be 0, both will start with 0. In slash 23 both will start with 0, and here the first IP will be 192.168.0.0, the next will be 0.1, the next will be 0.2, 0.3 up to 0.255. How many IP address are there now? 256 IP. How many IP address in the subnet is there? 2512. Is it complete? No, it will go ahead. It will say that it will go ahead, and as per the rule of binary, it will go 190 to 168. This will become 1, then 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 up to 1.255. It will go like this. So total 256 into 256 IP, 0 to 255 is 256 IP, was 1.0, from here 0 to 255 is 256 IP. So is entire IP address, this is the network IP and this is the broadcast IP. This is the network, this is the broadcast, and total 512 IP address will be placed like this. Getting the point? Remember, this is at very deep level, okay? But to give it some practice, it is done like this only. In slash 23, it is done like this. So 512 IP address will be placed like this. You have to just take care. It will be that this will be 00, 0001102030020255 256 IP. Okay, then how many IP? 512 is there. Okay, then this will become 1 1.0 1.1 1.2 1.3 1.255. Okay, IP address incomplete. 256 plus 256, they are in same network. Correct, they are in same network. This is your complete one network, my dear friends. So see here, if I go to the PC and if I change the subnet mask, see here, just see 255 255 254.0, and then if I give this IP 192.168.0.0, it will not take. It say no, your subnet mask is this one. But see here, can I give my PC 192.168.1.0? What do you think? I have to give the right subnet mask, 254.0. Can I give 1.0? What do you think? Can I give my PC IP 1.0? See the subnet mask first, na? That's why I'm putting the subnet mask. See the subnet mask. As per this subnet mask, 0.0 to 1.255 are usable IP. 1.0 is usable IP, my dear friend. Subnet mask has changed. Everything has changed. I can give now 192.168 1.0. It's a PC IP. It will take. It will not give me an error. Because subnet mask has changed. As per this subnet mask, subnetting goes like this. It says 1.0 is a usable IP. If this is the subnet mask 255.255.254.0, then this is 192.168.0.0 is the network, 1.255 is the broadcast. Rest all 5110 IPs are the usable IP. They are in the same subnet. Big subnet you have created, big subnet having 12 IP, 510 are usable IP. Getting the point? I can give it. 1.0 I've given it has not given me the error. It is 1.0. And I can give here like any IP address like 1.1 and 255.255.254.0. Okay, we are in same network. And then from 1.0 I can ping. From 1.0 I can ping 1.1 because we are in same network. See, and from 1.1 I can ping 1.0 because we are in same network. See, 1.0 reachable. So that means subnet mask is very important. Getting the point? I'm able to ping. I've given here 1.0 and I've given here subnet mask 254.0. I've given the IP here 1.1 and I've given this particular subnet mask. Now the ping is happening. Subnet mask is important. Now, my dear friends, there is I will take that also. But there is a subnet calculator for you that is known as Jodi's subnet calculator. Now you might be wondering why you wasted so much of my time. First of all, you have shown me this subnet calculator. I have quickly left the meeting. So my dear friend, do not worry because we have to discuss other things also. So you have to stay with me for some more time. Subnet mask subnetting calculator will make your life easy. If this kind of subnet, if this kind comes, just put here and give the subnet mask like /23 and say calculate. It will give you the subnet mask also 255.255.254.0. It will give you the network IP 192.168.0.0 and it will give you the broadcast IP 1.255 and it will give you the usable IP from 0.1 to 1.254. 510 usable IPs are there. Getting the point, my dear friends? Are you understanding? Subnet calculator is there with you. There is no need for you to worry. If you put here /24, say entire subnetting will change. 1.0 is the network IP, 1.255 is the broadcast IP, as the way we have learned /24 0 to 255 /25 0 to 127. Okay, so you just change here /22 0.0 to 3.255 /22 goes like this. Okay, I will show you /22 and then I will explain you /16 and then we will come to the next part. Okay, so my dear friends, for example, there is a PC having an IP 192.168.1.1 and subnet mask of 255.255.252.0. Okay, just give me 2 minutes or less than that.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so my dear friends, if you see this subnet mask 255.255.252, okay, just for understanding, then what you will get, you have to convert this. This will become /22 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. What is 252? 252 if we convert into, then it becomes like 816 6 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 0 0 and then all 0. So 16 1 plus 6 1, it gets 22. So this is the first thing. The next thing is, my dear friend, the network part is 22-bit, the host part is 10. Am I right? Am I right? 32 minus 22 is 10, right? Am I correct? Correct. So 2 raised to 10 is 2 raised to 9 is 5 and 2 2. 2 raised to 10 will be 5 and 2 into 2. 5 and 2 into 2. 1024. 1024 IP address will be there. Now how this will be placed? This will be placed like this: 192.168.0.0. This will be the network IP. 0.1, 0.2, 0.255, then 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.255. Okay, so then 2.0, 2.1, 2.255, it will go like this. Then 3.0, 3.1, 3.254, 3.255. So my dear friend, 3.255 will be the broadcast IP, and total IP address will be 1024. How? This is 0.0 to 0 1 dot, sorry, 0.0 to 1.0.255 to 56 IP, 1.0 to 1.255 to 56 IP, 2.0 to 2.255 to 56 IP, 3.0 to 3.255 to 56 IP. So 256 plus 256, 256, 256, you get 1024. They all are part of same network, same subnet. Getting the point? This is the network. 192.168 3.255 is the broadcast. See here, 192.168 0.0 is the network, and 3.255 is the broadcast. From 0.1 to 3.254 are the usable IP. Usable IPs are 1022. Getting the point? Now my dear friends, the last one, 192.168 0.0/16. If you see /16, then what is the meaning of this? Or if you see the subnet mask as 255.255.0.0, then what is the meaning of this? Let's put an IP. Correct. If you see an IP like 192.168.1.1, and if you see the subnet mask 255.255.0.0, then the subnet mask is /16. This is the first step. The next step is, my dear friend, you have to get the network part. The network part is 16 and the host part is, can anyone tell me? 16, correct. So 2 raised to 16 is, you have to just put the host. 2 raised to 16 is what? Not, it is a big thing. 2 raised to 10 is 1024. Then 2 raised to 11, 2 raised to 12, 2 raised to 13, 2 raised to 14, 2 raised to 15, 2 raised to 16. You have to just multiply 1024 into 2. What you will get? 2048. 2048 into 2, what you will get? 4096. 4096 into 2, what you will get? 8192. 8192 into 2, what you will get? 16384. Am I right? Into 2, what you will get? Correct, 32768. Into 2, what you will get? 65,536 IP. Getting the point, my dear friends? 65,536 IP in a single network. It is big, it's huge. Such a big subnet we don't use in production because of broadcast issue. But 65,536 IP address is something very big. So what will be the network IP address, my dear friend? What will be the network IP address? To have 65,536 IP address, what will be the network IP? If I go here, 65,536 IP, what will be the network IP? 192.168 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, it will go on. 0.0 will be the network, and the last IP address, even I cannot put down. 192.168.255.255 will be the broadcast, and the last usable IP will be 255.254. The first usable IP will be 192.168 0.1, and this will be the network IP, and this will be the broadcast IP. From 0.0 to 255.255 it will go. Slash 24 is 0 to 255 na. So slash 16 is 00 to 255. Simple. Are you understanding? Slash 24 is 0 to 255. So slash 16 is 00 to 255. The logic goes like this. So my dear friends, I hope you had enough subnetting. Now few things we have to discuss little bit, and then we will wind up the session. And you can see here also 16, calculate. 0.0 is the network IP, 255.55 is the broadcast IP, from 0.1 to 254. This many are the usable IP, from 0.1 to 0 to 255.254, and 65,534 are the usable IP, 3536. So this 65,536, two IP goes, one for network, one for broadcast. These are the usable IP address. Now my dear friends, let's go ahead and let's understand some few things related to, here I have given all the different kind of subnet masks. You can have a look. Okay, now coming back, let's come and let's see about class of address. Now we will come to class of address. Subnetting we have done. Now let's come to class of address. My dear friend, in any interview you will go, we have learned deep subnetting. You have to give it some time, you have to practice, and you will be comfortable. But in any interview you will go, you will ask about class of address. You will be asked this question about class of address. So there are 1 2 3 4 5 class of address. So class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. So there are total 5 class of addresses. So what happened, my dear friends? INA is an authority. It is not the INA, the mirror. In Hindi, mirror is known as INA. INA is an IP address managing authority. INA has the IP address from 0.0.1 IP address started. They had so many IP. Okay, 1.255.255. Now we are not talking about subnetting and all this. We are talking about IP address. When IPv4 was created, IPv4 was how many bit? IPv4 was 32 bit. So here from 0 to 255, 0 to 255, 0 to 255, 0 to 255. How many combinations we can have? 0.0.1 will be the first IP, 0.0.2 will be the first IP, then 0.255, then 1.0, then 1.255, so on. If you create so many combinations, you get 2 raised to 32 IP address, which is like 4 billion IP address. Okay, there are more than 4 billion IP address are created. So many IP address INA had. When internet was created, when IP address was created, they have limited this many IP. If anyone wanted IP address, I want to give IP to my computer, they have to take IP from INA. They, in olden days, I'm talking about 1970-80, they have to talk with INA, they have to get the IP address. So what INA did, INA said that okay, companies are coming to us for taking the IP. We have only limited this many IP. Defense department is coming to us. Every country's defense department is coming to us for taking the IP. We have to decide a plan so that we can give the IP properly. So they divided this IP address into class. They divided this entire range into class, and they decided that IP starting from 1 to 127 will be known as class A. IP starting from 128 to 191 will be known as class B. IP address starting from 192 to 223 will be known as class C. IP address starting from 224 to 239 will be known as class D. This will be reserved for multicast. I will explain you what is multicast in OSPF lecture. Next is IP address starting from 240 to 255 will be class E. So my dear friends, they reserve the IP address as per the class. They said that if the IP start from 1 to 127, it will be known as class A. If the IP address starting from 128 to 191, it will be known as class B. If the IP address is starting from 192 to 223, it will be known as class C. And class D and class E, my dear friends, they have reserved for class D for multicast and class E for research and development people. Like any country coming for research and development IP, give me the IP, they will give from this range. And this range were decided for companies. Getting the point? Companies will come, they will give from this range. That they have decided. So my dear friends, this is known as class of address. So why class of address was created? Because when IPv4 was created, at that point INA was the authority. Still INA is the authority, and they were handling the IP. And IP address is like 32-bit. So 32-bit will start from 0 and every bit will go up to 255. Finally it will go up to 255. So how many combinations we have of IP address? 0.1, 0.2, 0.255, then 1.0, 1.1, 1.255, 2.0, 2.1, 2.255. So many, it is a very vast combination, it will go on. So many, meaning I cannot just type here 4 billion IP address will be created. So what they did is, they had this chunk of IP and companies were coming, research and development were coming. So they decided, okay, we cannot just randomly give anything to anyone. We have to divide this into class. So class A, B, C, D for multicast, E for research and development. And they said IP address starting from 1 to 127 is class A, 128 to 191 is class B, and 192 to 223 is class C. So this is class by looking at the first IP. If this is the first IP like 192, 168, it is known as class C IP. Why? Because it is coming in class C. 172, 16 comes in class B. IP address starting with 10, it comes in class A. So just by looking at the first block, you will come to know that this belongs to which class. Now my dear friends, see here. Can I give this IP address? If I go here and I say that, normally we don't give any IP address, but just for understanding, can I give IP address here 0? I want to give 0. No, you cannot give 0. You can give the IP only from 1 to 223. Getting the point? You can give the IP only from 1 to 223 because this IP class are meant for PCs. And class D, can I give the class D IP? No. You can give up to 223. Actually, we don't give this 223 IP to the PC, but they have given the clear-cut warning that you cannot give any IP. You can give the IP only from 1 to 223. So in olden days, what used to happen? This IP address were directly given to the PC. Apple will come, take the range from INA and give direct IP address to their PC from this range. IBM will come, take this range from INA and give directly IP address to their PC. So my dear friends, in olden days, what happened? Companies were coming and directly taking the IP addresses from this range. But what happened? Slowly, what happened in this case, that more number of companies are increasing. Companies increase, and INA said, we have limited IP address, we will exhaust. We cannot give IP address to everyone. Internet is booming. People are having printer, people are having PC. We cannot give IP address to everyone. It is impossible to give the IP address from this range. At one time, this all IP address will exhaust, will end. Getting the point? From where we will get the IP? Getting an IP address like only premium rich people will get IP. They will go to internet. What about poor people? They will not have IP address. So INA decided that now we have to do one thing. In olden days, everyone used to come to INA. Not like today. In olden days, everyone used to go to INA. Even I will show you that your favorite company, Apple, has taken a range from INA. And that range is, for example, I can go here, centralops.net. This is a place where I can see the IP address. And if I can put 17.0.0, Who has taken this range? IP address starting from 17. The entire 17 range is taken by Apple. Okay, so Apple has taken this from INR, the entire 17 range. IP address starting from 17 is taken completely by Apple. /8 meaning all, /24 meaning 0 to 255, /2016 meaning 00 to 255.255, /8 meaning all 30 to all 3 255. You can understand /8 meaning 24 bit on the host side, 2 raised to 24. You do how many IP addresses they are getting, so many IP addresses they have got. Okay, so if you want to find /8, then /8 is the network partner. How many bit on the net on the host side? 24 bit. Do to 2 raised to 24. So many IP address they have taken from INA directly. So people were taking IP address public, this IP address directly. There was no concept of public and private IP at that point. I'm explaining you, in the year of 1980s this was happening. INA decided that if everyone is taking IP from us, then this IP address of class A, B, C and will get exhaust. We cannot give class D and E because they are reserved. So class ABC will exhaust, then no future company can get the IP. So what INA decided? INA decided that let's have the concept of private IP and public IP. INA started the concept of private IP and public IP. What is private IP? What is public IP? Previously, all the IP addresses were public only. INA decided that let's start the concept of private and public. Now previously this general IP, they are known as public IP addresses only. IP address given to everyone, public IP for everyone. But then what happened? Companies needed IP and INA cannot give IP to everyone. So INA said that what we have done, we have taken the range from class A, correct, 0 is reserved and 127 is reserved for self test. You are right. So my dear friends, from class A, we have taken the 10 range. Which range? The 10 range. IP address starting from 10 is reserved, meaning you cannot, this is reserved meaning this is private IP. In interview you will be asked what is the private IP range. You have to say that from class A the 10 IP is taken, from class B 172.16, from 172.16 to 172.17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 up to 31 is taken. From class C, 192 IP address starting with 192.168 is private IP. So this is the range that you have to remember, memorize, that IP starting from 10 is private IP. IP address starting from 172.16 up to 172.31 are private IP. IP address starting from 192.168 are private IP. These IP addresses are not on internet. These IP addresses are not the IP of Google, Facebook, Yahoo. Then these IP addresses are which IP? So my dear friends, INA said there are so many companies. Companies, what you want to do? Why you want IP address? Company says we want to create a LAN. We have a switch. We have PCs. We have to connect them. We have thousands of PCs. We want IP address. INA, give us the IP. INA said we will not give the IP. We have stopped giving the IP because if we give the IP to everyone, IP will exhaust. See, Apple taken 17 range. 17000/8 meaning 2 raised to 24, or so many IP address they have taken. They are using it or not, who knows, but they have taken that range. So if everyone takes such a big range, for future people there will be no IP. So from now on you have to use private IP. I said what is private IP? INA said we have taken from class A, we have taken the IP starting from 10. You can use that 10 IP you can use, or you can use IP starting from 172.16 to 172.31, or you can use 192.168. To use this IP there is no need for you to ask anyone. There is no reservation, nothing. You can directly use the IP. We have just removed this IP address from our public range, and this IP addresses are given to anyone can use it. This IP addresses are not on internet. This IP address you can use on your private network. I said okay, I want to create a LAN, and my favorite is 192.168. So I will give 192.168 1.1, 192.168.1.2, 192.168.1.3. Out of this range I can use anything. For me, there is no need for me to ask anyone. These are private IP address range. But my dear friend, I ask Aina, okay, my internal communication is going well. I am transferring the file, transferring the document, everything is working fine. Tell me, I have a router and I am connected to internet, and you are saying that on internet the private IP address is not allowed. And how I will go to internet? Then how I will go to internet, because I have a private IP, and on internet private IP address is not allowed. So Aina says, do not worry about that. We have introduced a concept which is netting, and using netting your private IP address will be changed to public IP address. That Zamir will explain you at the right time. Getting the point, my dear friend? So that you will get an understanding about netting, how it is done, how the private IP address goes to internet using public IP, meaning that IP address is changed and they are given a public IP address. Do not worry, that we will see. So even you can see your public IP address. If you type in Google, what is my public IP, you will see your public IP. Okay, what is my public IP address? You can see your public IP address. So even though my IP address is 192.168, my private IP address here is 192.168.0.180, but Google says no, your IP is 103.175.61.17. How it is done? Because on internet private IP address range is not allowed. So a netting concept was introduced. Now, my dear friends, getting the point? Are you understanding? Private IP and public IP. No, private IP address can be used by anyone. Okay, I can use, you can use, it can be used by anyone. But public IP address can be used only by taking the approval from INA. Now you might be wondering, can you tell me what is the public IP range? My dear friend, from class A, remove 10. Rest all is public IP. From class B, remove 172.16 to 172.31. Rest all is public IP. From class C, remove 190 to 168. Rest all is public IP. See here, if I go here and if I say, tell me who has taken 10.10.10.1. This is the central op website. It will show you who has taken which IP. I am asking central ops, who has taken 10.10.10.1 IP? Show me. Central ops says this is a private address range reserved by INA, special use. These addresses are used by millions. There is no need for you to contact INA. This address can be used by anyone without any need to coordinate with INA. Getting the point? Thousands of people are using in their small and big network. Getting the point, my dear friends? This is a private address range, and that is known as RFC 1918. This private IP address range is reserved in this RFC, meaning in this RFC, RFC is a document. In this document, they have discussed that this range we should be reserved. Okay, and if I Google out when RFC 1918 came, when this discussion came of reserving the private, so drafted, okay, they were drafted in 1996 and was not sufficient to address every single computer by that time. Getting the point? So in 1996 they decided that we should have a concept of private IP address. Getting the point? Because at that point they got clear that the IP address range that we have is not sufficient to give IP to the entire world, every single computer in the world. So they decided about, they floated the IP, that is RFC 1918. In that they declare that this is the private address range. You can give the IP of 10, 192, 168, 172, 16 up to 172, 31 without taking approval from INA. Anyone can use it internally. Then the private and the public IP concept came, and then the netting also came into picture. Now, my dear friends, if I ask INA, what is 172.16.1.1? Who has taken this IP? 172.16.1.1, who has taken this IP? INA will say from 172.16 up to 172.31. This entire range is private address range. If I ask Aina who has taken 192.168.1.1, Aina will say 192 IP address starting from 192.168 is all private IP. Anyone can use it. Now if I go to Aina and if I check my public IP address, okay, I will type in Google what is my IP address. And if I type here, Aina tell me who has taken this IP. This is a public IP. Aina will say this public IP is taken by Ibrahim Bhai, who is in opposite Kurla bus depot, Kurla West. Correct. From Ibrahim Bhai only we have taken the internet link. Correct. So this is the internet provider of Attari class. He has taken the IP from Aina. Getting the point, my dear friend. See, perfect address also giving opposite Kurla bus depot, Kurla West, famous place. Now you can also check your public IP. You can type what is my IP and put, you will see your ISP name. If your ISP is taken from some other ISP and that ISP is taken from Aina, that name will be seen. Now if I ask Aina that tell me one thing, who has taken, first of all tell me this is private IP or public IP? 193.161.1.1 is a private IP or public IP? What do you think? One 193.168 is private or public? The answer is correct, public IP address, and this public IP is taken by University of Luxembourg, France. They have taken this public IP. Remember, only one person can take the public IP. Huh? Public IP cannot be taken by two people. See here, CMD, NS lookup. Public IP address are used on internet, google.com. I will type google.com, I will get the public IP of Google 216.58.203.14. If I type here, I will clearly see that this IP is taken by Google. Here I will see Google's name only. I cannot see Yahoo, Facebook name. This public IP address range is taken by Google. Getting the point? A big range is taken by Google. If you're not able to understand what is /19, do not worry. I have given you Jodi's subnet calculator. For what? All subnet masks not required, but still basic subnetting understanding you have. You have to further, you will understand that okay, Google is having IP from 192, from this 216, from 0 to up to this. They have this many IP address they are using. Jodi subnet calculator will help you. 8,000 IP address in this range. Okay, if the subnet mask is /19. So my dear friends, if I type here what? If I type here like 5 dot, okay. If I type 6.6.6, who has taken this IP? Give me. It is completely gone. We are at the ending of the session. Even I can understand why you are going. 6.6.6. Now, my dear friends, this is taken by Conus YPG.net, headquarter direct allocation for someone has taken. I don't know who they are. Getting the point? Someone has taken 000. Who has taken 000? 000 cannot be used. The entire 00 range cannot be used. IP address starting from 0 cannot be used. They are address in, they may be used as outgoing packet, which I will explain you in routing lecture. 000 is used for routing. Okay, it is used for routing address. IP address starting from 127.0.1. Who has taken IP address starting from /8, meaning all the IP starting from 127. So all the IP starting from 127, they cannot be used, and they are known as loopback. They are 127 are used with one program to talk, and they are known as loopback address. Okay, meaning your self address. So even you can ping, that is automatically given to you. 127.0.0.1. They are used for some software testing by some software developers, but this IP address range is also cannot be used. So my dear friends, that means out of class A, 0 cannot be used. IP address starting from 0, entire range. IP address starting from 127 cannot be used because they comes in the loopback. Okay, and IP address starting from 10 cannot be used because they are private IP. And in class B from 172.16 to 172.31, and in class C 190 to 168. Getting the point? Class D and E cannot be used. Rest all in class A, B, C are public IP. Rest all which is not private is public. Getting the point? IP starting from 0 is used for default routing. IP address starting from 127 is used for loopback. And apart from this private IP, rest all class A, B, C are IP address which is left are known as public IP. Getting the point? So even you can see here 223 to even I can go here and see 223.255.255.255. Who has taken this IP? So it will show me that 223 range is being taken by this particular company of Australia. Are you understanding, my dear friends? Have you understood the private and public concept? So that's it for this session. Let's meet in the next session.